everybody, I am Crystal Clear 101. Welcome back to my channel. We have a Transformers toy review for today. And today, I'll be looking at the Combiner Wars Deluxe class Smokescreen. Now, this figure was part of the first wave of Combiner Wars Deluxes in 2016. He has a general release, and his suggested retail is $14.99. Now, let's take a quick look at his packaging. Now, stated right up here, it says comic book included. So, the Transformers logo, Generations, and Combiner Wars logos are all on the comic book itself. It says Combine the Form, and he's part of Skyrain. Now, we also have the name of the character right down here. Move along to the reverse side of the packaging. Good shots of him in robot mode. Vehicle mode states that he converts in 10 steps. Says Combine to form Skyrain, shows him as number 4 on the legs, along with some of his other Autobot brethren, including Wheeljack, Autobot Hound, Skylynx, and Trailbreaker. Also, even though it shows him as a leg, it does state he could become an arm or a leg. As far as his bio goes, it reads, Smokescreen is the resident fixer for the Autobots. When a fight goes wrong, he cleans up the mess. Using an array of disruptive and disorienting weapons, Smokescreen confuses his enemies and obscures his allies as they regroup for a punishing counterattack. Again, shows he's number 4 or 5, Skyrain. Some rather interesting and cool artwork for Skyrain. Now, with the packaging being shown, let's go ahead and open up Smokescreen and see just how cool this figure really is. Now, the first thing I will go ahead and cover with Smokescreen is the fact that he does come with a comic book. From the looks of it, looks like it's about a simple 16-page comic book. I mean, basically goes over Smokescreen's portion of the story. If you guys would like to actually see like for me to do a video on the comic book, you know, like panel for panel, like I did with IDW Megatron, comment down below and I'll try and make that happen. But what I think is actually rather needs the very back, right back here, how it shows the sketch phase, the great model, the finished product, basically the design process for this figure. But overall, it does have some more information about Smokescreen, name, group affiliation, subgroup, his status, everything. But overall, I like the fact these figures do come with a comic book, which for me does kind of make up the you know. As far as the cost of these things, this does help with the cost a little bit. You know, cheap little $2-3 comic book. But it's nice to actually have these. Now, as far as the actual figure itself is concerned, and now let's take a better look at the Combiner Wars Smokescreen. First off, let's give a 360-degree view on the figure itself. Now, right off the top of my head, the last Smokescreen I remember coming out before this one, right off the top of my head, was from the Universe line. I believe he came out in 2009. I still have that figure. He's still carded, however, he's currently in storage, unfortunately. But I have this one on hand, so let's take a look at this one. Now, first things first, this is a straight-up repaint of Prowl. And even then, Prowl was a slight retooling of Protectobot Streetwise. Only thing they did with Prowl, honestly, was they just changed the head. And I think they changed the colors. I think that was all they did. But as you can see, the only thing physically different between Streetwise and Smokescreen, obviously, is the head. But this is still actually a really cool little figure here. Now, as far as what I do like about the figure, number one, he does look good. I will say that. The colors do stand out. The head sculpt, that does look good. I do like the way that looks. Although, frankly, I just wish they would have gone the extra little mile as far as the little crest pieces here are concerned. I wish they would have actually painted the rest of that instead of just the very front. I might actually just paint the sides and the back of it to make it look a little better. But the head sculpt looks good. Now, since they've done Prowl, since they've now done Smokescreen, honestly, I would like to see a blue streak or silver streak, whichever they'd want to call them. But the figure looks good. The articulation is pretty nice. Now, you can have him in a multitude of different poses, different action poses, and you can still have him just look nice. Now, he does come with an obvious foot / hand, whichever you want to call it. It's just a generic piece. I don't have it right here with me, since there's really only like a couple of different ones. Actually, I think there's 3 different ones. But they're all going to, but the hand foot pieces are all going to be exactly the same. They're not really any different as far as their function goes. But he does sport the number 38 on the side of his arms, on the hood of his vehicle mode. Still has an Autobot emblem right there, as well as on his chest piece. Now, the transformation for him is actually fairly simple. It's actually a fair bit of fun. I'll show the transformation off in just a minute. Now, if I have to give any negative connotations about the figure, there's one thing I wish they would have done when they decided to make Smokescreen. Yeah, this is just me complaining a little bit, but since they repainted Prowl, and for them to make Streetwise into Prowl, that one made sense, since both are police vehicles. I just wish they would have remolded this top piece just a little bit to get rid of this police siren right up here, this boomerang siren. But that, to me, is a little distracting, especially considering he was just supposed to be a red, white, and blue sports car. So for me, it's really more of a slight annoyance more than anything. It's not a negative thing about the figure. It's just a little observation. But as far as storage goes, aside from his hand, there are the peg holes along the top of his shoulder, so you can have him with his weapon mounted like so. If you want him to be almost a seeker-ish type of bot, that actually does look somewhat cool. Somewhat. And if you felt like it, there is storage along the back, which serves as his main way of deploying his weapon when in vehicle mode. So if you don't feel like having him in robot mode holding his weapon, you can have it stored. But overall, as far as the robot mode is concerned, he is fun. Next, I will cover the transformation. Now, as far as getting his transformation started, if he's holding his weapon, obviously remove the weapon from his hand. But simply fold in the fist. Then fold his arms up like so. This is one complaint I do have, which is this is just one solid color right through here. There's no white along through here. There's no red along the very top. So for me, that is a little distracting. But anyway, let's go ahead and rotate the waist 180 degrees in advance. Now, go ahead and fold in the arms. So they do form the side of the car. Bring down the very front of the car. Bring down the windshield. Take the chest piece. Hold on. There we go. And fold it up like so. So it hides the head of Smokescreen. Next, open up the side of the vehicle. I'll go ahead and just rotate this round out. But go ahead and pad the back halves together. Fold them forward. Oh, I had it right the first place. And voila. Just like that, we have a sports car. And here we have Smokescreen's sports car mode. Now, I will say that I do like the colors on this. I mean, it's very simple. It's very basic. The only thing I would find off-putting is how this is a slightly lighter shade of blue compared to the rest of the side. I mean, it's really like that for this middle piece right here. It's just a slightly different shade of blue. Not to mention that it does kind of break up the outline right up through here with the white stripe and the red on the top. It does break that up a little bit. If that would have been a little bit more uniformed, then I think that would just look sweet. That would look slick. But I do like the fact it does have the number 38 on the hood, on the doors. But, I mean, overall, it's just a very sweet looking little sports car mode. I mean, yeah, he still has the sirens. I mean, as much as I would have liked to have seen them be able to slightly remold this, you know, without this on here, it's really not an issue unless you just really pay attention to that. But aside from that, he does roll very well. Now, overall, the transformation, as you saw, is simple. It's actually a very fun transformation. In addition to that, the vehicle mode does look flat out sweet. Only other thing I would point out is it does have the little peg hole on the top, so you can mount his weapon if you want to, whether it be his triple barrel rifle or shotgun, whichever this is supposed to be. At this point, I'm just going to assume it's supposed to be a shotgun, just from the shape of it. Or you can mount his little combiner portion, which forms either a hand or a foot. But that is it for his vehicle mode. It's actually rather sweet. It actually looks really good. Now, as it says on the packaging, he's part of the Combiner Wars series, which means he can become either an arm or a limb. Well, I'll go ahead and get that portion out of the way now. Now, let's say you wanted to have him simply as a leg. In this case, take the front portion of the vehicle mode, fold back the windshield, simply fold back the hood, the very front of the car itself. Simply pull out this connector piece, like so. And just whatever foot or hand piece you have, I just grabbed one at random and simply insert it into the bottom. And here we have Smokescreen as a leg. Now, if you want, let's say you wanted to have him as an arm, simply rotate this downwards. Now for this, it'll be just like converting him to robot mode, only we're going to swivel this head right down here. Matter of fact, let me straighten this up a little bit. Now let's do that. Rotate this around. Let's throw it combine into a hand. But there you have it for the most part as an arm. Now, I'm not sure if in the instructions if it said these are supposed to remain flush along the side or they're supposed to be popped out, but I mean, this is just how, if I had them in combiner mode, this is about how I would have them. But I mean, as a simple arm, there he goes. But as far as having him part of a combiner team, there you go. So overall, my thoughts on the Combiner Wars Smokescreen. If you have Streetwise or if you have Prowl, then you know what to expect with this figure. But if this is your first time with this mold, I will go ahead and tell you this is actually a very fun figure. The robot mode looks good. The transformation is simple. His sports car, even though it does have the police siren, it does look good. And even though this right here can be a bit distracting, overall, it's still not a bad figure. This is actually a very eye-catching little figure here. But articulation's good, transformation is simple. And the fact that he can be part of a combiner team, while I find that strange, it is actually rather cool. I actually do kind of like that. But overall, not a bad figure. If you're a fan of the character, if you're a fan of Combiner Wars, do pick the figure up. He is actually pretty nice. But that'll wrap up my review on the Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Smokescreen. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.